We're here with Nicky Nguyen, who is from Adelaide Dodgeball, and he is the dedicated dodgeball physio. You see a lot of dodgeball players for the injuries. What would you say are the most common injuries?
The most common injuries for males, it's shoulders, especially beginners. They want to go ham, go 100%, and just want to hit some heads. For the ladies, it's generally knee injuries or ankle injuries. From my professional experience, I think it's from their wider hips and then the knees is like more in. So they're just more prone to like knee injuries, especially going down in a W shape or going to their knees or going for a throw. The knee collapses a little bit. That's the most common injuries I see in dodgeball. But it's nothing like traumatic. Occasionally you do see some broken fingers. That is the nature of the sport. You're going to get hit in the fingers when going for a catch. But yeah, they're not too severe.
So what are some tips to like prevent the injury walking into dodgeball, like pre-game, how people can kind of warm up?
Yep. So with warm-ups, you want to spend 10 to 15 minutes warming up the body. The main aim for warm-up is getting the blood moving. You don't want to do too much static stretching, but it's okay to have a little bit of static stretching, no longer than 15 seconds. So the main things like, going for a jog, doing something like bear crawls or some like dynamic movement. If you're a rusher, for example, it's good to warm up with some jogs and sprints. If you're like a really good dodger, it's good to warm up with like jumps and then drops to your knees.
Oh shit, so good.
Something that's specific to the type of game style you play. So there's no point warming up, completely different to how you play. For like beginners starting to grow for the first time, what I recommend is you don't want to go from nothing to like 3-4 times in a week of dodgeball. You want to start gradual and then build yourself up. If you feel like the next day you're super sore, maybe you're doing too much. If you feel like the next day you're feeling, I'm feeling all right, then maybe that's the perfect amount. Stick to it for a few weeks and then gradually build up.
I would say that's a big trap as well. Like coming to dodgeball, you're just so addicted. You just want to play as many as you want. Okay, so let's say you've played the game. Now it's like post-game. Is there a recovery post-game?
Yeah, so there's good evidence on cooldown routine. Cooldown routine, you want it to be like 5 to 10 minutes, not too long. The main aim is to relax the body because the body's going through some adrenaline, fight-flight response. And then also get into a routine of just chilling out after intense activity. So examples of a cooldown is like just some slow jogs up and down again. And then this is where the static stretching comes in. Whole body, shoulder, lower back, hips, knees, ankles, just some basic stuff. The most underrated recovery routine is sleep and diet. A lot of you guys are like, stretching will do the work, but no, it's going home, getting enough sleep, getting enough food into your body, feeling yourself for the next day. So like alcohol, obviously, it's okay to have in moderation, but you don't want it like too much alcohol the day before dodgeball, because that just increases your risk of injuries.
And what are your thoughts on like taking pre-workout and like energy drinks and things like that? Because I see it's quite common in dodgeball, like before a game, smash a pre-workout.
Oh really, is that common in Sydney?
Yeah, maybe more in Sydney than Adelaide.
Okay, yeah, not many people in Adelaide take pre-workout, but I am not like too for or too against pre-workout, up to you.
So like in moderation?
In moderation, yeah, in moderation. But if you're in an elite level, it's probably not the best idea to take pre-workout because there might be some substances there that are performance-enhancing drugs. Who knows? But if you want a pre-workout or feel good, the best thing is like coffee.
I'm gonna need a cup of coffee.
Yeah,
coffee will get the caffeine. Caffeine's really good before training, but you don't want to have too much caffeine, otherwise you're going to crash. So
explosive training, is that like something that you prescribe to dodgeballers? Because I feel like dodgeball is a very dynamic sport, like you're jumping left and right very randomly. Yeah, is that something you recommend?
Yeah, I look after a few dodgeballers in South Australia.
He actually trains up a lot of the SAA div. We all go to his gym. I started out not being able to do 30 kilo squats, and recently Nicky got me doing 70 kilos.
Damn!
Which is
70 kilos!
above body weight.
That's so good.
He's really good.
In our training, we do a lot of compound movements, so our squats, our deadlifts, just to get the body stronger. That builds a good foundation to explosive movement. So in this training, we don't really do much dodgeball specific training. We do a lot of general training. So things like box jumps are really good, or squat jump with the bar, really good. The single leg squats is really good because single leg squats converts to being able to change direction, or when you're jumping, you're able to land well or dropping well and recovering and then changing direction. And then also some explosive movement that changes multiple directions in your gym training is really good for explosive movement. It doesn't matter how much weight you put in, it's how much effort you put into the explosive movement. So the intent of the movement will help transfer over to the explosive movement. So if you put 100% into a box jump, it doesn't matter how high the box is, that is going to transfer over to your explosive movement. You can still have a low box and jump as high as you can and still get the same amount of
Yeah, so it's the effort you put in.
Yeah, it's the effort you put in.
Sweet, man. That's it.
Sweet. Awesome.